Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our module discussion on quarter 3 mathematics 9. So we are already in quarter 3 using module 1 entitled Parallelograms. The first type of parallelogram is the rectangle. So our main objectives for today's module are the following. First is to determine the conditions that make a quadrilateral a parallelogram, and to use properties to find measures of angles, sides, and other quantities involving parallelograms. So this is asynchronous modality in aid to our module that is been given weekly. So for this module, we have more or less we have two lessons. And the first lesson that we will discuss is focused on the properties of parallelograms. So we'll have a short flashback. If you will recall a lesson in grade 8 during the 4th quarter, you have learned how to prove properties of parallel lines cut by a transversal. So what do we mean by these parallel lines cut by a transversal? So parallel lines cut by a transversal is a diagonal line that passes through two or more parallel lines is called a transversal line. This creates pairs of congruent alternate interior and exterior angles. So to illustrate those parallel lines and a diagonal that passes through these two parallel lines that we call transversal is this figure that we can see on the right side of the screen there. So you have there two parallel lines and a diagonal line that passes through the two parallel lines. The diagonal line is called the line of transversal or the transversal line, and that transversal line creates pairs of congruent alternate interior and exterior angles. So asa nato makita ang interior angles, alternate interior angles, and the alternate exterior angles? So you have there angles A, then so obviously opposite angle niya mo iyahang congruent angle. Then the missing angles are angle B, represented by angle B. So for now, where can we locate that alternate interior angles and alternate exterior angles? So ang first na makita is ang angle B. So angle B, ang duha ka angle B which are found inside the two parallel lines are what we call the alternate interior angles. Another alternate interior angles are angle A or angle A, which are also found in between the two parallel lines. So pangutana sir, usa may tawag nimo anang A ug B sir nga gawas sa duha ka parallel lines? This one, A and B on the upper and A on B on the lower, gawas siya sa duha ka parallel lines. So A and A there are the alternate exterior angles. So silang pareha og angle sa gawas. Then as well as angle B, where is that? Okay, ang angle B po din na sa gawas ibabaw o din sa ubos nga napod sa gawas are also called the alternate exterior angles, and they should be a pair. Okay? Dapat pareha sila. Parag letter, pareha sila angle measurement. Okay? So also ganito ang alternate interior angles. Okay, the interior angles found in the interior portion of the two parallel lines. So naa sila in between sa two parallel lines. So katong mga angles nga naagawa sa parallel lines up and down are what we call the alternate exterior angles. So nasabtan ra. So to move on, we'll have a short quiz on that topic on transversal lines. So the missing parts are A, B, C, D, and E. The diagram and its parts are the following. Okay, you have there. Ang given kay 130 degrees. Kaparehan na siya sa angle A. Then pangitan ang angle B, angle C, angle D, and angle E. So how are we going to solve for those missing angles A, B, C, D, and E? So first, angle A is 130 degrees since vertical angles are congruent. Same with angles C and D that are also vertical angles. So again, so 130 ang atbang niya 130. And based sa illustration ganina sa transversal line, di ba, upat man kay A, ug A. So regardless of gingalan pa na siya og letters angle C, angle D, but since pareha ra na silang vertical angles, so their measurements are also the same. Next, angle B is 50 degrees since adjacent angles, Bisaya pa nagtapad ra no, A and B. A og si B nagtapad na sila. Then since adjacent angles are supplementary to each other, so supplementary angles are angles when added, two angles when added, the result is 180 degrees, no? Which is 180 degrees if added. Also, angle A is 50 degrees. Okay. Since angle A is 130, so ang angle B is 50. Okay, 130 plus 50 degrees is 180 degrees. That is exactly 1/2 sa circle na ang iyahang measurement. So, if angle B is 50 degrees, also, angle E. Kaya ang atbang sa angle B ibabaw kana 50 degrees. So, ang kaning angle E, og atbang po niya butangan, kung butangan ito na siya letter F din ha. So, pariha sila, magpariha og 50 degrees ang angle measurement. Okay? So, what's new? How is it answering the activity above? Were you able to get the same answer as provided on the table? Were the solutions able to guide you in recalling the past lesson on transversal line? If yes, how are we going to relate this concept to our new lesson on a geometrical figure called quadrilaterals? So, say pasabot aning quadrilaterals. So, we are now in our discussion proper. So, what do you mean by quadrilaterals or quadrilateral? Quadrilaterals are defined as a four-sided closed geometrical figure that is defined by its different properties involving its sides and angles, that is categorized into three subfamilies, namely parallelograms, trapezoids, and kites. So dunay tulo kadagkong families na each. The first family will also be subdivided into three minor members. So the first family that we will discuss about quadrilaterals is the family of parallelograms. So what are the properties of a parallelogram? First property is opposite sides are congruent and parallel. So say dagway sa parallelogram, sir. Let me show you. So that one, mara siya rectangle no nga tilted to the right or tilted. It can be also be tilted to the left. We say tilted ning handag no, nilubag. No, handag na siya. Inclined sige. Sorry for that term. So di pwede tilted. Pwede pa tilted, pwede po inclined. Inclined to the right, inclined to the left. Ning handag sa Bisaya pa. The opposite sides are congruent and parallel. So kaning upper line, upper and lower horizontal lines are congruent and parallel. Also, the left and the right side inclined lines are also congruent and parallel. So, when you say parallel, dili sila mag-meet, no? Okay. The second property is opposite angles are congruent. So, the angle on the lower left is congruent with the angle on the upper right, while the angle on the upper left is congruent with the angle on the lower right. Consecutive angles are supplementary. Sa consecutive sa Bisaya pa, nagsunod. Consecutive angles. So, consecutive is different with opposite, no? So, consecutive angles are supplementary. Supplementary, meaning when two angles are added, the result is 180 degrees. So, kaning lower left angle is supplementary to the lower right angle. So, sila duha ang nagsunod i-add 180. Pwede sad nga ang kaning lower right angle i-add nimo sa upper right angle 180. Why? Ang angle sa upper right o lower left parihara man. So, kaning lower right nga angle kani dinhi panalitan kani 120 ni siya. Kaya kung kita sa arrow 120. So, ang atbang na kong angle is probably 60 degrees. Okay, 120 plus 60 is 180. Example na siya. Diagonals are not congruent. So, asan diagonals? Diagonal, so duha ka buok. Okay. Diagonal going to the right. And diagonal going to going left, upper left. So, dili sa pariha, no? So, kaning diagonal going to the upper right is longer than the diagonal going upper left, but it bisects each other, not the angles. So when the two diagonals cross each other, mutunga sad sila sa isigtagsa nila. So therefore, ang ilahang mga bisected segments are the same. So kinsa ra may magpariha nga segments? Okay, na ay mga angle A, angle CD. So, that one. Ang kipasabot nga diagonals are not congruent but it bisects each other kani. Nay duha ka ticks, no? Duha ka blue lines. Then dunay single ticks. So nagpasabot nga kaning double ticks mas longer siya sa single ticks. So when the two diagonals intersect each other or cross each other, it also bisect each other. Bi means two, sect means to separate. So to separate into two equal parts. So this one ay kaparihang segment kana. So kaning segment o kaning segment sa ubos pareha po. Another. Since na naman nakabutan din ang angle A, angle B, angle C, and angle D. Okay, so if you will try to look back sa ato ang flashback ganina katong transversal lines. Okay. So kaning letters A, B, C, and D are what we call alternate interior angles. So walay exterior ani ha. So the letters found outside the parallelogram are what we call the exterior angles. Since ang atong gibutang makita, ang gibutang sa diagram or makita sa diagram are those angles found inside the parallelogram. So they are angles that we specifically called alternate interior angles. So angle A, ang iyang ka-alternate interior angle is also angle A on the lower right. Sila kaparehag angle. Then ang angle B nga mas dako, iyang kapareha ang angle B pod nasa ubos. Ang angle C on the upper left, ang kapareha niya angle C pod sa ubos. Alternate ha, so on the other side. Then angle D sa ubos ang kapareha angle D pod nga nasa taas. Tara. Each diagonal, so ang long diagonal ug ang short diagonal maka-create di ay two pairs of alternate interior angles. So ang first diagonal going to the upper right, naka-create siya og duha kaparisan sa alternate interior angles. Ang first pair is ang angle A. Ang second pair, angle B. While the second diagonal going to the left, upper left, is naka-create siya another two pairs of alternate interior angles, and that is angle C o angle C, angle D o angle D. Then lastly, diagonals create two pairs of vertical angles. Okay, ang duha ka diagonals nga nag-cross each other, maka-create siya two pairs of vertical angles in the middle of intersection. So, asa makita? Okay, that one. So, ang angle E, ang kapareha niya angle E, which is smaller compared to the angle F o yung atbang angle F. So, sa tanong vertical angles are angles created when two lines intersect and their point of intersection na-create siya og two sets or two pairs of vertical angles. Angle F Another pair is angle E. Okay? So to illustrate more or to give examples, to illustrate this concept is through the examples that we will see in the next slides. Okay, let's start with the first example. You have there side A, yung katbang 12. Side B, yung katbang 7. Then angle X degrees, yung katbang 112 degrees. Angle Y degrees, yung katbang wala. So how are we going to solve for side A, side B, angle X, and angle Y? On the right side. So to measure angle Y, measure of angle Y, kanang marag letter A nga inverted, no? So that is another representation of the symbol nga angle. So we read that one as measure of angle Y is 68 degrees. Why? Since consecutive angles are supplementary. Anong 68 degrees? Kay ang nagsunod nga angle Y o ang angle 12 nagsunod, they are consecutive angles and they are supplementary to each other. So 112 plus 68 is 180. Or para masolve mo ang Y, okay, supplementary angles so angle Y plus 112 degrees is equals to 180. So to solve for Y, that is Y equals 180 minus 112. So that is exactly 68 degrees. So i-minus lang ang 112 sa 180 para makita ang Y. Angle Y. Okay, next. Measure of angle X. Measure of angle X is 112 degrees. Why? Since opposite angles are congruent. Mani reason. So ang atong gigamit ng reason ani is based sa mga properties, no? Kung nakita mo ganina sa previous slide or na mismo sa module. So 112 iyang katbang is angle X. So kana sila nag-atbang na sila nga angle, so sila pareha. Ang angle X is 112 degrees. Next, side A is 12 since opposite sides are congruent. Atbang sa angle A is 12, so A dapat is 12. As well as ang side B. Side B should also be 7 since opposite sides are congruent. Second example. Kani. To illustrate more of the properties of a parallelogram, we have this second example. Atong first i-mention is ang 10. Kaning 10 is half segment of one of the diagonal. So 10 yung katbang side A. Ang side B yung katbang 7. Then ang kaning segment C yung katunga ang 15. So ano ta idea kung say value sa B, A, B ug C. So how about angle Y? Angle Y ang katbang kani 33 degrees. Then missing angle Z. So ano ta idea no sa second ra. So the first we will solve for angle Y. Angle Y, the measure of angle Y is 33 degrees since vertical angles are congruent. So ang katbang sa angle Y is 33 degrees. So ang iyang kaparehag angle ang iyang katbang, di ba? Next, angle Z is 147 degrees. Why? Since adjacent angles are supplementary. So tarang adjacent ganit sir, nagtapad. So ang katapad sa angle Z is 33 degrees. So kung imo i-add ang 33 degrees of angle Z, that is exactly half a circle. So ang katunga sa circle is 180 kay supplementary man. So 180 minus nimo sa 33, that would give you 147 degrees. Next, ang side A. Side A is 10 since bisected diagonals have equal measures. So ang A kaparahan niya 10. Same with segment C, yung kapariha 15. And side B is also 7 since opposite sides are congruent. Then side C is 15 since bisected diagonals have equal measures. To continue with our examples, we have example number 3. Kani medyo taas-taas ni siya gamay ang solution. Sige lang, sayo naman niya siya. So you have there the given, no? Looking for the measure of the variable a, yang 4a, yang katbang a plus 12. Nakibaw kita nga opposite sides are congruent. Next, there's only one diagonal, no? And that diagonal creates two congruent triangles, the upper right and the lower left triangle. Kabaw kita, in every triangle, the measure of its interior angles is equal to 180. So, kung magtan-aw ko sa upper right triangle, ang 42 plus 4x plus z degrees, i-add mo sila, that is exactly 180 degrees. Same with 70, 3y o w is 180 degrees. So, let us start answering. So, we started with angle Z. Pwede rin pag mag-una ka sa A, mag-answer, then X, then Y, then W, or any. Depende, as long as you're comfortable in answering. So, in my solution, I solve first for the measure of angle Z, Y. Measure of angle Z is 70 degrees. Ang solution, ang final answer, pero ang solution, di sa siya pag-derive, money. Since alternate interior angles are congruent, therefore, asa man ang kapareha sa angle Z? Alternate interior angles. Yang katbang sa angle Z is on the upper left, kaning 70. Sakto? So, ang angle Z or Z degrees, ikapareha 70 degrees. Kani pong 42 degrees, yang katbang ana sa ubos ang 3y degrees, mo yung kapareha. So, pwede rin sa ma-solve po ng y. Kaya na-solve na to ang z. So, again, one reason nga ang angle z is 70 degrees because alternate interior angles are congruent. Ang z o ang 70 degrees pareha. Next, y is 14 degrees. Nangunod-solve ko sa y, adra. Another alternate interior angles are 42 degrees, iyang kapareha nasa ubos 3y degrees. Since ang usa ka given angle is complete man in number, nya kaning pikas is napamay variable ng y, so we will solve for y. Because alternate interior angles are congruent, and which by solving we would get. Since pareham sila, no? 42 degrees is equal to 3y degrees, so we'll solve for y, and to solve for that variable y is to write it in this way. So 42 equals 3y. Then solve for y, we will eliminate 3 on both sides. Kaya para mabilin ang variable y, so divide 3 po sa pikas na sign. Next. Therefore, we cancel 3. Ang nahabilin is y. Then 42 divided by 3 is 14. So therefore, y is 14. Dili degrees ha. Dili na siya 14 degrees. Kung dili ang y mismo, ang value niya kay 14 only. So that is 3 times the value of y, no? And if y is 14, so what is 3 times 14? That is exactly 42 degrees. So, since pareha maka sila, so 42 degrees ang iyang ubos pod, iyang katbang is also 42 degrees, wherein ang value sa y kay 14. Para dili understood ang value sa usa ka variable. X is 17. Dili siya degrees ha. X is only 17. Same with y. If x is 17, diyo siya sa pagkuha. Since the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. Akong sulti ganina na tungod sa diagonal, na-create siya duha ka congruent triangles. One on the upper right and one on the lower left of the parallelogram. And by solving for x, we get, so moto, gi-add ang 42 degrees plus z degrees plus 4x degrees is equal to 180. So, the interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180. So, muna 42 plus z plus 4x equals 180. 42 plus 70. Din rin 70. ganina, na-solve naman tani. Ang z is 70, no? So, 70. Plus 4x equals 180. So, i-add ang 42 ug 70, that is 112. Plus 4x equals 180. To solve for x, pabilin ang 4x. Then write equals, then write 180. Ang 112 inigbalhin minus 112. To continue, 4x bring down equals 180 minus 112, 68. And to solve for x, divide 4. Divide 4 both sides. So therefore, x is 17. So di na siya degrees sa, but the value of x is 17. So if x is 17, i-multiply sa 4, 4x man ano? 4 times x. So 4 times 17 is, pilam na siya. That is exactly 68. Okay? So we're done answering angle z, the value of y, the value of x. Next is to solve for the value of w. Okay. So ganina, when x is 17, so pila ganing 4x? 4x is equal to 4 times 17. 4 times 17 is 68. So therefore, if 4x is 68 degrees, ang iyang katbang is angle w degrees. Angle w or w degrees. So therefore, katbang man sila, parehas lag angle. So obviously, the measure of angle W is 68 degrees since opposite angles are congruent, wherein, naman siya. When x is 17 by substitution, so ang 4x degrees is equal to W degrees. So 4 times 17 is 68. Mo na siya ang measurement sa W, which is 68 degrees. And lastly, to solve for A, the two sides on the left and the right are parallel and congruent. So since opposite sides are congruent, wherein by solving, 4a is equals to a plus 12. To solve for a, group ning a, no? So this is considered 1a. So i-tipon siya sa 4a. From positive, it becomes negative na. So 4a minus 1a equal to 12. So 4a minus 1a is 3a. Copy 12. To solve for a, divide 3 both sides. So 3a divided by 3, 12 divided by 3. So a is equal to 4. So if when a is 4, pila gid exact measurement sa usa ka side on the left and same with the side on the left, on the right, sorry. So if a is 4, 4 times 4 is 16. While this one, if a is 4, 4 plus 12 is also 16. You got it right? So, that is our third example. We have a lot of examples pa. Okay. Next is the fourth example. This one. Example number 4, the given are 3y degrees and katbang 123 degrees. So, opposite angles are congruent. And the angle on the left side of 123 degrees is 2x minus 5 degrees. So, consecutive angles are supplementary. Solution. Y is 41. Anong 41, sir? Since opposite angles are congruent, wherein by solving, 3y is equal to 123. So, to solve for y, divide 3. O, dili na makita ang divide 3, no? That is divided by 3. 123 divide po 3. So, nabilin y equals 123 divided by 3 is 41. So, dili siya y, dili siya 41 degrees sa, kundi value rin na siya sa y. So, since opposite angles are the same maka, so 3 times the value of y. Pila may y? 41. So, 3 times 41, 123 degrees. Okay? So, next, to solve for x. X is 31 since consecutive angles are supplementary wherein by solving. So, consecutive nagsunod, no? Ang kaning angle on the lower left plus angle on the lower right, i-add nimo sila equal to 180. Muna pagsuwat ako sa solution, 2x minus 5, nagkuha na ng parentheses of degrees, understood na siya nga pwede na siya wala. Dili siya is no need suwat. So 2x minus 5 plus 123 is equal to 180 degrees. Then we add the constant negative 5 plus 123. That is exactly 118. Ano 118 man, sir? Okay, positive 123 minus 5 is 118. Positive. Equals 180. Yato ipabilin ang 2x sa left side. Then, equals. Sir, nga nang 62 naman na siya. Gikuha na siya, pinaagi sa pag-minus sa 180 minus 118. So, kanang 118, inigbalhin mo dito, minus 118 man na siya, no? 180 minus 118. That is exactly 62. You have to solve for x. So, 2x divided by 2 is equal to 62 divided by 2. So, therefore, x is 31. So, dito siya 31 degrees, ha? Hindi. X is 31 lagi na siya. So, if x is 31, to substitute that one to the expression 2x minus 5 degrees, so that is 2 times 31. Sakto ba? Okay. 2 times 31, diyan kanina pita. 2 times 31, pila na siya? 62. 62 minus 5, pila? 62 minus 5. Pilang 62 minus 5? 67 degrees. So 67 degrees plus 123 degrees is 180. So that serves as our last example. So we have more or less 1, 2, 3, 4 examples for parallelogram. So are the examples clear enough to illustrate the properties of a parallelogram? If none, I guess you are now ready to answer the first activity. So on what's more, on page 4 of your module, you answer items 1, 2, 3, and 4. Write your complete solution as what you can see on the solution that have been presented on the module or on this presentation. Okay, moving up to our next discussion, we have lesson number 2, the properties of rectangle. Okay, our second lesson, we will have a short flashback of our lesson 1. Before moving into our next lesson, we will have a short recap of the topic on parallelogram as a special form of a quadrilateral based on its properties as previously discussed in the previous lesson. Wow, balik ang previous, ha? Read the explanation beside each figure to fully understand the process involved. So we have a few examples. So the missing parts, the diagram and the parts, and explanation. So we will look for A, B, X, and Y. So ano ng A, B, X, and Y? Are they referring to the side or the angles? Okay. A is side, B is also a side, X is an angle, Y is also an angle. So sayo na siya. A is 16, Y, okay. The opposite of side A is 16, so therefore A is 16. The opposite of side B, opposite is abang 6, so B is 6 since opposite sides are parallel and congruent to each other. X is 108 degrees since opposite angles are congruent. At bang niya X 108 degrees, pareha sila. Then Y is 72 degrees since the angle is supplementary to the consecutive angle, which is 108 degrees. So angle Y plus 108 degrees should be equal to 180 if they are supplementary to each other. So therefore 180 minus 108 is 72 degrees. Second example for the recap. Okay, you'll have there only, we will solve for the value of M and N. So kung mabalik sa properties of parallelograms, when diagonals cross each other, they bisect each other, not the angles. So ang kaparehag measurement sa segment nga 9 is ang segment 2n minus 1. Ang kaparehang nga segment sa 3m is ang m plus 8. So therefore, their segments are equal. Knowing that the diagonals are not of the same length but bisect to each other, then 3m is equal to m plus 8, while 2n minus 1 is equal to 9. And to solve algebraically, we do this. 3m is equal to m plus 8, Then we group the variables m. Ang m nga positive nigbalhin to the left side, it becomes minus m. So 3m minus 1m, understood when the variable doesn't have any constant, ihang automatic constant is 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2m equal to 8. To solve for m, divided by 2 both sides. So 2n divided by 2 equal to 8 divided by 2. Therefore m is 4. So if m is 4, pwede man the exact measurement diya sa bisected segment, sir. So if m is 4, 3 times 4 is 12. 4 plus 8 is also 12. To solve for n, when 2n minus 1 is equal to 9, pwede ka po 9 equals 2n minus 1. They're just the same. As long as ang pag-solve sa variable n, insakto, dili magkasayop ang iyahang sign. So if 2n minus 1 is equal to 9, 2n is equal to 9 plus 1. Ano plus 1? Kaya ang minus 1 sa left side inibalhin, sa right side may mong plus 1. So 9 plus 1 is 10 equal to 2n. 2n, to solve for n, divided by 2. No? 2n divided by 2, or 10 divided by 2. Therefore, n is 5. Then, question, sir. Pila ang exact measurement sa duha ka segment when n is 5. Therefore, if ang pika segment is 9, dapat ang kaning 2n minus 1 should also be 9. So, when n is 5, 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. So, inana gina siya. Okay, that ends with a recap on parallelogram. So, what's new? How's it answering the activity above? Were you able to get the same answer as provided in the table? Were the solutions able to guide you in recalling the past lesson on parallelograms? If yes, how are we going to relate this concept to our new lesson on one of the family member of parallelograms, specifically rectangle? Okay, so what is it? So we are now into our discussion proper. So what in by rectangle? Rectangle is a special parallelogram that has two pairs of parallel and congruent sides. Duha ka parisan sa parallel and congruent sides. One is held vertical and the other is held in horizontal in direction. Asam na yung vertical and horizontal, sir? Okay. To give you some properties and to illustrate these properties, we will discuss it one by one. The diagram is found on the right side. Okay. First property of the rectangle. Opposite sides are congruent and parallel. So, ang kaning horizontal, upper horizontal, ug lower horizontal are parallel and congruent. The left vertical and the right vertical lines are also parallel and congruent. Opposite angles are congruent. So, the upper left angle, iyang kaatbang lower right angle, kapariha. The upper right angle is the same with the lower left angle. Nag-atbang, no? Consecutive angles are supplementary to each other. So, kung lower left is supplementary with the lower right. Upper right is supplementary with the upper left. But also, that the upper left, ang kaning upper left, supplementary pa na siya sa lower left. Why? Since this is rectangle, no? By the reason nga, ang iyahang angles, ang kanupat ka corner angles are all 90 degrees. So, right angle, so dili necessary nga ang nagsunod, ang kanang nagsunod din ha, mo'y parehara gid gyapon sa parallelogram kay basta magsunod siya nga angle, supplementary gid siya, sakto day. Same with the rectangle. Next, diagonals are congruent. Sa parallelogram, diagonals are not congruent. Pero sa rectangle, the diagonals are congruent. So, ang duha ka diagonal nga nag-cross to each other are equal of length. Sa parallelogram, they're not equal. Pero sa rectangle, they are equal. At the same time, it bisect each other, not the opposite angles. Okay. So, ang upat ka ticks no blue, kung makita nimo nga blue, so parehas la tanan usa. So all the segments are the same. Then each diagonal creates two pairs of alternate interior angles. So same with parallelogram, ang diagonal ma-create siya og two pairs of alternate interior angles, that is A and B. So asa na makita? Kanya siya. So wa pa makita ang A o B no. So do pa lang ka angle, ang angle sa ibabaw ug ang angle sa ubos pareha. There. So angle B on the lower right is the same with angle B on the upper left. They are alternate interior angles, as well as angle A is kapareha ni angle A pod sa ubos. Then this one. So same gapon, the upper right angle A kapareha siya sa lower left angle A. Ang angle B on the upper right kapareha siya sa angle B on the lower left. Next, diagonals create two pairs of isosceles triangles. Duha ka parisan sa isosceles triangles. So tara isosceles triangle, it is a triangle that has two equal legs. No. So this one, ang kanang triangle, ang inverted triangle on above and the inverted on the triangle below are the same isosceles triangles. The triangles on the left and right are also isosceles. So one pair, ang ubos taas another pair. So two pairs of isosceles triangles. And also vertical angles C and D. Asam nang C and D ang vertical angles? Yara. Angle C is the same with angle C, while angle D is the same with angle D. They are congruent to each other. And they are what we call vertical angles. Two pairs of vertical angles. Then lastly, it has four right angles in each corner. Okay, that one. The green square. So that measures 90 degrees, no? So all of the corner angles are measured 90 degrees. Right angle. So we will make use of these properties to answer our next examples on properties on rectangle using the properties. To visualize the said properties of a rectangle, study these few examples in how to measure angles, size, and other quantities relating to rectangle. So we have there rectangle A, B, C, D intersecting at point E. Given that AE, okay, asam ng AE, sir? That one. They kani siya AE. So segment siya. Okay, a portion naman katunga naman siya sa kuan diagonal. Segment AE is 5. Segment BC, side BC, siya segment side BC is 6. While side DC, asam ng DC? Okay. Side DC, ang ubos is 8. Find AC, diagonal ang AC. BD is another diagonal. AD, ang atbang sa BC. And AB, ang atbang sa DC. Okay. So, mas maayo kung ang mga given inyong i-illustrate, inyong isuwat sa diagram. Here, in our example, wala ako magbutang og mga label sa kada segment or side. So, ang given na akong isuwat. So, it's up to you if you will write it good. I-draw nimo, isuwat para makita nimo ang mga given na unsa gipangita. So, AC is 10. Nganong 10 man siya? Since E is half of AC. Point E. Since point E is the middle of segment or diagonal AC, so midpoint mo siya tunga-tunga. So therefore, parihara ang segment AE o CE. Therefore, the diagonal AC is 10. Kaya ang AE is 5 man. So ang CE is also 5. So 5 plus 5 is 10. Since E is half of AC and BD is 10, asam tong BD? Okay. AC is 10 while BD is also 10. AC and BD. So, solve na ang duha ka gipangita AC and BD. Okay, parehas lang 10 because AC is equal to BD since the two diagonals are congruent. Sakto no? Usaray given ang AE which is 5. So ang katbang niya 5. So kanipod 5, kanipod 5. Okay? So 10, 10. Next. BC is equal to AD. So ang duha ka sides on the left and the right. BC katbang niya AD. And then AD is 6. Why? BC is 6 maka. So ang AD is also 6. While DC is equal to AB, wherein ang DC is equal to 8. So therefore AB is equal to 8 since opposite sides are congruent and are parallel to each other. Simple ra, di ba? Second example of the rectangle. Still, the rectangle ABCD intersecting at point E. Given that BD is diagonal sa given. BD is a diagonal which has a given of 3x minus 7, and CA is another diagonal which is given x plus 5. Find BD, diagonal BD, then ED which is a segment, while CA is a diagonal and AE is a segment. Okay, since BD is equal to AC, the two diagonals, no, BD and diagonal AC are congruent to each other. And by solving algebraically, you will get x equals 6. Yan naman. Later, makita na siya. To solve BD and AC, you just substitute the value of x, which is equal to 6, to BD, which is equal to 3x minus 7, and AC, which is equal to x plus 5. That will give you an answer which is 11. So, yun sa pagkuha ang 6. Sa itong given, ang BD is a diagonal which is 3x minus 7. Then, ang AC po is another diagonal which is x plus 5. So, and therefore, since BD and CA are just equal, so their given are also equal. Munang 3x minus 7 is equal to x plus 5. Then, i-group ang for a variable x, 3x minus x. Nga minus x man, sir? Kaya positive x sa right side, and balhin minus x. Then we copy positive 5. Sir, din kag plus 7. Ang negative 7 or minus 7 gikan sa left side, inigbalhin ana niya sa right side, mahimong plus 7. So 3x minus 1x is 2x. Dapat na may 2x is equal to 5 plus 7 which is 12. So 2x equals 12. So to solve for x, 2x divided by 2 equals 12 divided by 2. So therefore x is equal to 6. Since x is 6, then to solve for the exact measurement of each diagonal, BD and AC, so i-substitute ra ang x to the given expression 3x minus 7. So BD is equals to 3 times x minus 7. 3 times 6 is 18, minus 7 is 11. So if BD is 11, therefore CA is also 11. So to continue with our examples on rectangle, we have our third example, I guess. So example number 3, we have rectangle BOYS intersecting at point X, wherein the given are the following. Rectangle BOYS has diagonals BY and OS which intersect at X, and if measure of angle XOB, so pangitaan na siya. Asama na XOB? XOB. So this one, kaning babaw, is 70 degrees. Find the measure of angles YSO. Asama na YSO? YSO. Kaning ubos. Yan yung katbang no sa XOB. BSO. BSO. So, nasa ubos pod. SBO. SBO. Right angle. Then XBO. XBO. Kani babaw. OXB. OXB. So, kanina sa center, vertical angle na siya, no? And YXO. YXO. Tapat sa vertical angle. Another vertical angle set. So, solution. The measure of angle YSO. Start sa YSO. Angle YSO. So, ang katbang angle YSO 70 degrees since diagonal creates a pair of alternate interior angles. Ang katbang sa angle YSO which is 70, ang angle XOB which is given 70 degrees. Angle BSO. This one. Angle BSO. Pilam na siya. Angle BSO is 20 degrees since angles BSO and YSO are complementary to each other which is equal to 90 degrees. So, ang pag-solve na ito ganyan sa YSO 70 degrees. So, therefore, ang kaniyang pares para mo 90 degrees is also 20 degrees. Since they are complementary, lahat of supplementary ha. Ang supplementary is 180. Complementary, when two angles added, the result is 90 degrees. Next, angle SBO. Angle SBO is 90 degrees since it is a corner angle which is equal to 90 degrees. So, tanang corner angles is a right angle which measures 90 degrees. Next is measure of angle XBO. XBO. So, kanidri babaw. So, sa measurement na niya. That is 70 degrees since it is paired with angle XOB. That are base angles of an isosceles triangle. So, asa isosceles triangle, sir? Kaning triangle BXO. Kaning triangle nga inverted ibabaw is isosceles triangle. So, therefore, if ang usa sa iyang base angle is 70 degrees, so therefore iyang katbang pod is also the same 70 degrees. Kay ang isosceles triangle has two equal legs and two equal base angles. Okay, next. So therefore, sir, if 70 degrees o 70 degrees ni ang iyang mga base angles, pila man na 140. So therefore, ang angle BXO should be 40 degrees. Am I right? Okay, 70, 140. 140 plus 40, 180. So, ang usa sa mga vertical angle measures 40 degrees. Next. So, therefore, kani siya. Measure of angle OXB. OXB or BXO is 40 degrees since it supplements the other base angles XBO and XOB to make it 180 degrees. What ako sulti ganina? If the two base angles are both 70 degrees, so 70 plus 70, 140. So, ang katulong angle niya sa isosceles is 40 degrees. So, 140 plus 40 is 180. At the same time, angles OXB and YXS, kaning ang mga vertical angles OXB kani siya nga angle o kanang angle pud sa ubos nga iyang katbang YXS are vertical angles, so therefore they are the same. So if 40 degrees ning ibabaw, 40 degrees po ng ubos. Okay, and the last one to solve is angle YXO. Angle YXO. So pila man siya? Kung kani siya rina 40, ang ubos 40, so pila di ang tapad sa 40 para mo 180? It should be 140. 40 naman kani siyang ibabaw nga angle. So therefore, ang iyang ang pares na naskilid, padong half sa circle should be 140. don't be what do you call this one, ayaw ka ilad sa diagram ha, because the diagram might give confusion to you. So therefore, when you knew already how big is the angle, it doesn't follow nga mao gina siya sa diagram. So therefore, ang diagram can be adjusted at any time. Okay. So if ang angle OXB is 40 degrees, therefore ang YXO is 140 degrees. Okay, 140 plus 40 is 180. Muna ang answer sa angle YXO is 140 degrees since it is supplementary to the angle OXB, which is 40 degrees. That is half the circle in measurement. At the same time, angles YXO and angle SXB are another set of vertical angles. So therefore, kani siya 140, ang pikas pod 140. Again, I would like to clarify the diagram nga makita niyo sa left side kani might not equate the given angle nga atong gisolve dinhi. Okay, ato makita nga, wala sir, ka 40 degrees, di dako ra kay ning angle nga drawing kumpara sa 140 degrees nga nasa kilid niya, gamay kay angle, di ba? So the diagram might confuse you, but you knew at the time that when you solve the missing angle, kay bawdyon mo asa ang dakong angle, asa ang gamay angle. So this diagram can be changed anytime. Okay? Another example of the rectangle to illustrate its properties is this one. We have rectangle FACE face. Write a rectangle face above or on the left side to find the measures of the numbered and lettered angles. So na yung mga numbered angles, angle 1, 2, angle 3. Then lettered angles, basin this one. Lettered angles are the following. If measure of angle AFC, kani letter na kay letter naman siya ang gi-represent. AFC is 60 degrees. Find measure of angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle A, and angle EFC. EFC. Okay. So how do we solve? Measure of angle 1 is 60 degrees since the two angles are alternate interior angles. Angle 1, iyang ka-alternate is 60 degrees. Angle 2 is 30 degrees. Since angles 1 and 2 are complementary angles, which is equal to 90. So if this is 60, this should be 30. Because 60 plus 30 is 90. Why? This is a corner angle. The measurement of that corner angle is 90 degrees. So if this is 30, iyang kaatbang nito, ibabaw sa 60 is 30 degrees po. Next, measure of angle 3 is 90 degrees. Why? Since it is a corner angle that measures 90 degrees, that is congruent with angle A. So angle 3 is 90 degrees, angle A is also 90 degrees. And lastly, measure of angle EFC. Asa na, sir? EFC. So therefore, this one, ang iyang kaatbang sa angle EFC is ang angle 2, which is 30 degrees. So therefore, angle EFC is 30 degrees since it is congruent with angle 2. Dara yung kapariha. 2 yung katbang, tapat sa 60 babaw. That is considered as alternate interior angle. Yes, we are into our last example. Okay, we have here rectangle bear with intersection at S. Refer to rectangle bears on the side or above this one, on the side lagi, to find the missing angle when measure of angle RBA. Asang RBA? RBA. Babaw. Interior angle. Measure of angle RBA is x plus 9 and measure of angle EAB. Ang iyang ka-alternate interior angle. EAB. So therefore, this one, yung katbang, which is given 2x minus 44. Find measure of angle EAB, the exact measurement niya. Since the two given angles are alternate interior angles, then the two angles are congruent such that the measure of angle RBA is equal to the measure of angle measure of angle EAB. The solution we get. So if the two angles are the same, so x plus 9 is equal to 2x minus 44. Then group the variable x, 2x minus x, kaya positive x, inibalhin minus x. Then we copy 9 on the left side, and minus 44, inibalhin sa left side, may mong plus 44. May mong 53 equals 2x minus x is 1x or x. So therefore x is 53. So if x is 53, how do we look for the value of measure of angle EAB? To get the exact measurement of the angle, substitute the value of x to the equation, given that the measure of angle EAB is 2x minus 44 when x is 53, and that would give you this one. So 2 times 53 minus 44. 2 times 53 is 106 minus 44 is 62 degrees. So if angle EAB is 62 degrees, so angle RBA is also 32 degrees. Nga naman, ang given nga x plus 9 sa angle RBA when x is 53. So 53 plus 9 is 62 degrees. Okay. Nasabtan ra. So that ends our examples for rectangle. If you were able to understand the explanation of the given examples, I guess you're ready to answer the second activity for this module on what's more, found on page 9. So answer activity number 2 on page 9 of your module. Write your complete solution as required in the activity for items 1 to 4. So same po sa pagka-display, pagka-show sa solution sa given examples. Then the last to answer is answer the performance task found on what I can do on page 9 gihapon sa module 1 to 6. So thank you for listening. Hope this have helped you understanding this module number 1 of quarter 3. So for any queries, questions, and clarifications, you can message me on my Facebook or on our group chats in mathematics. Thank you once again and have a good day.